women can actually pay much better than men. Women don't like the shame of being auctioned.
Yes.
They don't like the shame of the neighbor start knowing, you're not paying your debt.
Yeah.
But men do it and they don't even bat there.
The audacity. The audacity
And
of
they
men.
don't feel...
Yes.
But women are very, very... So
Yes.
they tend to be good pairs. KCB, we sit at a very good space, where we can influence both public and private.
Policy.
And what we've done about that...
I know there's so many things that people say about mortgages. So what are some of the myths that you've heard?
There are things as an organization you'll find yourself doing and investing in, and they don't necessarily translate to the bottom line, but because you're thinking about sustainability.
Yes.
I feel the Gen Zs,
Yes.
they are ready. We need to get the systems ready for them. We need to support them by providing that basic. Education is basic. Housing is basic. We talk of mentors, we talk of sponsors, and not sponsors in the way that, I saw your eyes going round.
Not like that.
Yeah, not like that. When I talk about a sponsor, it's somebody who speaks
Yes.
of your worth on the table when you're not in the room. We walked the journey of seeing how affordability affects home ownership.
So is owning a home still worth it? Now, they say that owning a home is one of the greatest milestones in a person's life. And yes, we've been taught that we go to school, we get a job, we save, we own a home. But lately, we've had a different voice in the conversation. We have financial advisors calling home ownership a dead asset and saying that it's outdated, immobile, and a drain on resources. And yet, right here in the 254 in Kenya, owning property is still one of the most tangible markers of success. It's more than shelter. I mean, if you ask me, it is identity, it is belonging. It is how many of us build and also leave a legacy. And I think you'd agree with that. So today on Highway, we ask, what does it take to make that dream feel possible? And we're joined by the woman at the forefront of helping Kenyans answer that question. I am so excited about my guest today because this has been a year in the making. This is Highway, and I am your host, Terry Moikamba Gitonga. And this season, we are spotlighting the women running finance from the top and in Africa. My guest today is Caroline Wanjeri. She has recently been appointed as top 25 most impactful C-suite executives leading businesses with an edge in 2025 by Business Monthly magazine. She's the director of mortgage at KCB Bank Kenya, and before stepping into her current role, Caroline served as a chief of party at KCB Foundation, where she led very high impact programs focused on youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, and also social transformation. If you ask me, it's a very interesting transition, and we're going to be talking about it in just a few minutes. But Caroline has also led some of the most significant housing finance initiative in this country. And I know you might be thinking, are we going to talk about affordable housing? Yes, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. However, right now she leads one of the most critical portfolios enabling home ownership for thousands of Kenyans. Welcome.
Thank you, Terry.
It's so good to have you. Like I said, it's been a whole year in the making to have you here. So finally, we are so excited that you're here. And congratulations.
Thank you.
How does that make you feel?
Humbled, really humbled. Because my work really, I try to connect my work with my purpose,
Right.
Which many times transcends higher than just a purpose of being here, a purpose of my next life when I'm 6 feet deep.
Wow.
Yeah. So really, really humbled.
Does it come with some pressure?
It does come with a lot of pressure. It's very competitive. For us women, being at the top, it becomes hotter. But when you know and have very clear on your purpose, it becomes much, much easier. So for me, it's really, really easy because I love what I do. That drives passion. And when passion meets purpose, you can never beat that.
Yeah. It's perfect. Passion meeting purpose. Now, before we get to talk about mortgages, I want to know, so you help people own homes, but what feels like home to you? What makes a house feel like home to you?
So this is how I look at it, Terry. A home is a basic need. Sometimes we go too far. And when we start thinking about a home, we start thinking very big.
Yeah.
But I think of it from the point of how basic it is.
Yes.
If you went to school, they taught you the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember the guy?
I remember.
Yeah.
Food, shelter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You remember that pyramid?
Yes, I do.
I think it's a triangle.
Yeah.
So at the bottom of that pyramid, you have food.
Yes.
You have shelter.
Yeah.
And you have clothing.
Yeah.
So that's how basic housing is.
Yes.
And what does it mean? If it's food, it's got to be fit for you. If it's shelter, it's got to be decent. It's got to be good for your circumstance at the time. Because the definition of what would be a home to somebody like who's the owner of TikTok is very different from myself.
Yes.
But it's got to be decent to
Yeah.
the point of where you are at. It must humanify you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must not make you feel less human. You must feel comfortable. So for me, that's where I start defining what a home is.
Yes.
But as we move into the next levels of your hierarchy, your needs and your wants sort of like integrate and intermerge, and you start becoming, now I want a bigger house. And you'll find a lot of people moving from, I'll tell you, I started my first home in South B, then moved to South C, then moved to Runda. So that's what
Yes.
because it moves as you move up that hierarchy. That need changes based on your need. Yeah. And that when you speak about affordability, it's about that. When I'm at that point, when I'm at that base, I must be able to afford something decent. As I move up my career or my income level to the next phase, and as I move up to self-actualization, then again it must be affordable to my means.
Yes, I like that. I've never really thought about it like that it needs to be affordable to the point of where you are, as long as it's giving you dignity as a human.
Exactly.
I love that. Now, I was looking at your bio and the things that you have done, and it's so interesting to me that you moved from the foundation, which is very impact, and then you go into mortgages, which is very commercial. So I'm curious, how was that transition in terms of, how you felt about it, and also what things have you had to adjust?
So interesting you asked that, Terry. So I came from mortgage before, then I went into the foundation. And as even I landed into the foundation, I remember when I received that call that I'm being appointed to head the foundation. In my head, I was like, how? I am a commercial mind. So I had a lot of questions, and I remember meeting my boss then, who was a former group CEO, and he broke it down. And let me tell you, it is one of the things that have changed my life completely. One, it is in the foundation that I've truly, truly found my purpose. And for those who do not know, every year KCB puts aside 1.5% of its profit, which goes into impact work. And for me, when I look at the programs that I run, and I'll tell you the first thing that I landed on, we had this scholarship program where we sponsor kids that have done well, but are really needy and cannot be able to pay school fees.
Right.
And I remember walking into Moi Avenue Primary School. We were supposed to be doing interviews. And there were 2,000 kids with their parents coming for interviews.
Oh, my goodness.
And I asked the guys, how many children are we picking out of this? I was told 4. It broke my heart because already from the interaction with the kids and how needy they were, I remember one was already HIV positive. The siblings are HIV positive. They had gotten to class 8 from support from the church and other people, and they were just looking up to KCB Foundation to be able to take them to the next level. Right. And I remember one of my biggest tasks when I joined the foundation, one was to increase that number. So we moved from 200 to 1,000. And on top of that, we said, when a kid finishes Form 4, that's not it. They're not yet done. I come from a background that I cannot afford the basic, which is education. Yeah. Just because I've gotten to Form 4 doesn't mean I've stopped being needy.
No.
So the other thing was to get to the board again and convince them to expand that program, to take this child right from high school all the way to university. And on top of that, give them an opportunity to have an internship.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it. And I started seeing lives changing.
Yeah.
when somebody comes and tells you, you have no idea what you've done to my life. I started seeing the role of KCB, because for me, I looked at it from the lens of, this is what makes KCB. That's why KCB has been there for 128 years.
Yes.
Because there's somebody who prays, because the stories, when some of the guys would graduate and they would come, some of them wearing a suit for the first time coming to work. They'd never even worn a suit. They've gone to Gikomba. They bought their very first suit. They're like, KCB has changed my life.
Yes.
So for me, that helped me interconnect commercial and impact, and why it's very important as a business to be driven more by purpose than profit. Because the profit automatically comes. You can imagine that young man who comes, who never had that opportunity and remembers, I didn't have the opportunity to even make it in life, but KCB came through. If that person becomes a CEO ever, they would never want to bank with any other bank. So profit sorts itself out automatically. So as I transitioned, moving from the foundation, and of course I got to work with a lot of young people, Gen Zs,
Yes.
I'm a mother of Gen Zs. I have 3 in the house.
Yeah.
I got to work a lot with many of them. I interacted with them even in the programs that we run within the TVET. And we connected in a way, and I feel the Gen Zs.
Yes.
They are ready. We need to get the systems ready for them. We need to support them by providing that basic. And when I say basic, just as I defined it, if it falls down there in that hierarchy of needs, then it's basic.
Yeah.
Education is basic. Housing is basic. So it's not cool at all that my Gen Z graduates from campus and cannot afford to live in a decent, nice studio.
Yeah.
That they have to go and live in a slum. It's not cool at all.
Yeah.
So we've got to create an environment that allows, even as they are studying, when you talk about student accommodation, even when they are studying, it must be decent.
And safe.
For me, it's about decency, safety,
Yes.
and humanifying. It must bring, they must feel dignified in wherever they live.
Yeah.
Are we there as a country? No. A
Maybe
lot
not.
of work to be done.
Yeah.
Because the kind of environment that person, that Gen Z grows in, even as you're calling it student housing, if it does not provide the safety, if it does not provide the decency, if it does not provide the humanity, then you are bringing out somebody who will come out of there very, very bitter.
Right.
You don't want somebody coming out of a slum-looking place, coming to class. So a lot of work needs to be done on the basic to ensure that we sort that out.
And now you've talked about Gen Zs. When I was 19, I couldn't wait to move out of my parents' house. I think I turned 19, I'd gotten a job and I was out. I told them, listen, this has been good. I'm moving out. I am gone. And obviously it was decent for the time, but I have, younger cousins who are Gen Zs, and the difference between me and them, they don't want to move out of home. And a lot of them are like, am I getting rent paid? Am I paying rent here? So I am not moving out of home. So I don't know if your data is showing the same thing, probably from the bank side, that young people are not keen on taking mortgages. What is it looking like?
So there are 2 things, Terry. One is affordability.
Affordability.
And that's why when I started from the basic of enablers, right from education and ensuring that people have got an ability to earn an income, that's very important. Any organization that's thinking of transcending the future and becoming the organization where Gen Zs will sit as CEOs must think and have solutions for the basics. And I'm happy I sit in an organization that's already thinking about that. That incubation bit of it is very, very important. So that you can build affordability. So a lot of them, it's not that they don't want to move out of home. The question is, can they afford?
Right.
Of course, there are few who can afford but still want
the comfort of home.
But I can tell you that's a smaller percentage. The bulk of them is, can I afford? And then 2, are there units that exist within that price range that I can afford? And that's how I'm trying to break when we talk about demand and supply in housing. Because there can be the demand. I want to live in a nice place. I want to move out of home. But the question is is there a home that exists
for me
that can be within my income level? And that's where affordability comes in.
Yeah.
And then we ask ourselves, as industry, both private and public, have we set systems to ensure then there's a stock of housing where if a young person today wants to move out, they actually can afford? Once we sort the basics of they have the income, are those units available? So a lot of sacrifices, and I know later I'll be speaking to what, when we talk about Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, and the reason why KCB put a very heavy investment into KMRC. KCB is actually the second largest shareholder outside government of Kenya in Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company. And part of it, having walked the journey that we've walked from the days of SNL, what was being called savings and loan, in 1952, we walked the journey of seeing how affordability affects home ownership.
Yes.
We saw people lose their homes because of interest rates being very, erratic, changing in between in there. I remember in the early 2000s, rates went even to a high of 30%.
Yes.
So you have our parents who live in Buru, and Buru and Kayole.
Yes.
You remember those estates that were coming after?
Very
very
posh.
organized.
Back
and
then.
very, if you said I'm from Buru, people would be like,
Yes.
But a few of them went through trauma. Some of our parents went through trauma. You know why? Because rates went haywire. But nobody, both public and private, sat and asked, what do we need to make sure we don't put up such a beautiful estate and then traumatize the same people that have bought them? There are those that went well, but there are those that lost their homes in those nice burus, those years when rates went up to 30%.
Yes.
So for us, when KMRC came on the table, when the World Bank was calling stakeholders to be on the table, KCB was on the table.
Yeah.
We were on that table because we knew we needed to drive affordability. We knew we needed to drive a situation where you have a fixed rate.
Yeah.
If I'm joining in, as you said, when I'm 19, if you tell me I'm going to pay 9,000 shillings, then I know for another 25 years, that's not going to change.
Yeah.
And that's what KMRC offers. That's what we are offering when we talk about affordable housing.
Okay, so we're going to talk about KMRC in just a few, but you talked about the trauma, and I think a lot of us live with that trauma because we saw our parents losing houses, and unfortunately, it's the horror stories that stick with us. And I think that has gone on to build a very, when you tell someone a mortgage, it's not usually very casual. Most of us feel like, I don't know if that's what I want to do. You feel like, I must be on this job. I cannot lose this job because if I lose it, I lose my house as well. And I know there's so many things that people say about mortgages, but I think I want to demystify some of the myths that you've heard about mortgages, because again, we are living from that trauma. So what are some of the myths that you've heard?
So let me first go to the trauma. So the trauma was real because I watched it. I was a very young girl then.
Yeah.
I had just gotten into banking.
Right.
And my first step into banking was actually into housing.
Mortgage,
because then I was with HFCK. And the trauma was real because rates went to a high of close to 30%. So you found monthly repayments almost even doubling.
Yeah.
And the reason why, to sort out all that, a lot has happened since then. This is like 20 years ago we're speaking about, or even more. A lot has happened in the market. And one of the things that has happened is the recognition that this is something that cannot be done by government alone, that cannot be done by private sector alone.
Yeah.
It has to be a joint effort by all players. And out of that, a lot of product innovations have come in the market. Today, we have employer-assisted programs. A lot of employers have taken the responsibility of ensuring that their employees can own a space. So a lot of them have signed up with banks. Today, as I speak, all the civil servants in this country can actually borrow a mortgage at 5%.
Yeah.
And it is fixed. It doesn't change.
It's not going to change, yes.
It doesn't change.
Yeah.
In fact, recently, it's gone down to 4%.
Wow.
Just a month ago.
Yeah.
So you can imagine we are moving into what is offered, like even in the States, where it's single digit, it is fixed, offers that certainty.
Yeah.
And through that, we financed over, 9,000 civil servants and public servants to be able to access a home.
Yeah.
But question is, how do you expand this to even include the MSMEs? How do you include this to even include the younger people?
Right.
So we've gone a step ahead and started addressing even student housing. Because as a student, you don't want to buy a house, but you want to stay in a decent place.
Yes.
So we've worked together with companies that are doing student accommodation.
Yes.
We've just done a big ticket deal with Econ on a student housing. And the beauty is that we are also thinking about sustainability as we do it.
Right.
So we're making sure that those assets, as they come to the bank, they are green. Because we are asking ourselves as leaders, as a leader today.
Yeah.
I found an institution that's 128 years old.
Yes.
I have a very big obligation, Terry, to make sure that I build an organization that can live another 128 years old. So, and through that, if you've seen the housing that I think it's what you call Kwetu offers you.
Yes. Oh, it's
So we are on
beautiful.
the back
Yes.
doing that and facilitating that.
Yes.
And the intention is to continue improving so that we can see and make it as affordable as possible. Remember, I talked about enabling every Gen Z to be able to live in a decent place like that. We are not yet there. So a lot of financial instruments, a lot of innovation will need to work. A lot of interplay and PPPs, what you call public-private partnerships, will have to come in to enable that, because it shouldn't be a big deal. Somebody who lives in the village should actually be able to get into a Kwetu apartment and feel comfortable.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that you talked about affordable housing, first of all, I know someone is probably thinking, is this a government scheme? Because a lot of us are not exactly sure. When it comes to mortgages, we just stay away. So when you talk about affordable housing, is it the government scheme you're talking about, or how different is it from that?
It's very interesting, and I get a lot of that.
Yeah.
I did mention to you about KMRC.
Yes.
KMRC, if you Google, started way back in 2021, if I'm not wrong. And this was, the World Bank came in to help, and it was out of a study that was really done to check why is it that when we look at our GDP and mortgage uptake, we are such at lower levels compared to markets like South Africa, for example, compared to markets outside, like even Singapore or Morocco. And when the study was done, one of the things that came out very clear was affordability is an issue.
Yes.
So there was need to come out with a product that's cheaper. So you cannot afford to have a home loan priced the same way with a personal car loan or a loan for going for holiday.
Yeah.
It's got to be as cheap as it can be.
Yes.
The second thing that came out is the tenures need to be longer so that it gives you that comfort in terms of how much you're paying. Normally, one of the things I do when I talk to people about financial management is that out of your gross income, you should never pay rent. 30%, not more than 30% should go towards your rent. Immediately it's over.
You're living beyond your means. Yes.
You're living large and it's going to burst. So it's the same thing. So we guide that your mortgage repayment should never be more than 30% of your gross. Because then that equates to what you would pay in rent. Because either way, you have to live in a house. We said it's a basic need, isn't it?
Yes.
So you either choose you're going to rent or you're going to mortgage it, or you're going to have a scheme where you have a rent-to-own arrangement, which we call tenant purchase. So from the study that the World Bank did was first to have the longer tenors so that then monthly repayment can be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is that certainty of the rate change. A lot of people feared because the first thing they would come in, yes, I'm coming in at 9%, but what if this goes to 30%? So there was a lot of thought in terms of how do we fix that?
Yes.
So with the partnership with KMRC, the World Bank came in, they did put in some money, IFC put in some money. Today, as we speak, there's several other banks that have also put in some money, including the government of Kenya. So it's really, I would not call it government. It's what I would call a public-private partnership.
Right.
Because remember what I told you, the mistake we did it before was to make an assumption that government can do it by itself.
Yeah.
It can never work. You have to involve the private sector. And so what that has done now is to increase the tenor. For the first time in this market, we have a single-digit rate. You can get your mortgage at 9%.
9%, yes.
You have assurance it will not change for another 25 years. So you have certainty in terms of how you manage your cash flows. And on top of that, the other barrier that was there is that the costs to start buying a house, I need to put in a deposit. Yes. I need to pay legal fees. I need to pay valuation. I need to pay stamp duty.
Yes.
So again, we went back to the drawing table and we developed products. So today you get 105% financing.
Wow.
What does that mean? The house is fully financed.
Yes. The legal fees.
On top of that, we give you 5% to sort out your stamp duty, your legal fees.
Yes.
So what it means is just get into the house and start paying.
Yeah.
So it's become much, much easier.
Yeah.
And I can tell you for a fact, if we continue with the same trajectory, we've always talked about 30,000 mortgages in this country, which is like about 3.8% of our GDP.
Yeah.
We will get to the 6% because I can tell you the numbers are increasing. We've had to restructure the way we sit.
Yes.
I'm very excited because I see more young people now wanting to own a home. Because when I explain, my question normally when you come to me, I ask you, how much are you paying in rent? And I ask you, if I offered you the same, but for you to know that you eventually what you're paying, you own.
Yeah.
Because what you have paid, you actually own.
Yes.
Unlike in a rent, where what you paid actually just costs.
Yeah.
And many of them are able to change their minds and get into a mortgage.
Yeah. So I'm also young. And I mean, I think I've gotten to the point of adulting where I'm thinking about owning a home. Yeah. And I'm curious to know about the different types of mortgages that are there. There's the affordable housing, but also are construction loans, mortgages?
Yes, they are. And as Michael Joseph said, Kenyans are peculiar. A lot of Kenyans actually want to build their own space. Yes. So you'll find that in our portfolio, actually 60% want to build.
Yes.
So we allow that. We allow that.
Yeah.
And yes, it is a mortgage.
Okay.
So even as I speak, you can actually come and we can facilitate you to own the plot and actually get the money to build.
Oh, wow. Owning the plot as well.
Yes. The only difference is that we don't, Kenyans are peculiar.
Yeah.
And they're very good speculators.
Yeah.
So for you to qualify for the 9%, we want to confirm that you are actually serious about it.
Yes.
So you need to identify the plot, but you must have also conceptualized what you want.
Yeah.
So you must have talked to
an
architect.
Right.
You must have talked to a quantity surveyor who sort of that tells you for this kind of a house, a 3-bedroom, this is the kind of costing that would come through.
Yeah.
Because then we put sort of like a timeline for you. Immediately we pay for the plot. Then we want you to start the construction.
Okay.
So yes, you can take it as a mortgage and the same terms apply.
Yeah.
You can take it for the 25 years.
Yes.
And the beauty about the construction loan is that we are cognizant of the fact that there's a period that you're building.
Yes.
So within that period, you don't start
You're not paying.
We give you a moratorium.
I see.
So you get from about 9 months to a maximum of 18 months, depending on the size of the project.
Yeah.
Within which you don't pay. You only service interest of what we have paid out.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't pay a lump sum and put in
true.
your account and then you're confused. We do it in stages, come and check, see, actually you've progressed. Now you're roofing,
So there's some form of accountability.
Yes. So we walk that journey together, just to ensure, again, Kenyans are peculiar. You don't get excited.
You might get the money and
let me rush to Dubai and buy cars, then come make money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Because also it holds the person taking the mortgage accountable.
Exactly.
I really
to
like
complete
that.
the project.
Yes.
And because it's about owning that home.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that,
you
we
actually
walk that journey and make sure you own
the home.
Yeah.
I really like that. So, we've talked about Gen Zs and not wanting to move out. I hope that this makes them feel a bit more, comfortable. But there's a conversation I want us to have, sustainability. And currently, I think every organization is talking about sustainability. And sometimes it might feel like a buzzword. It might feel like if an organization wants to be seen, moving forward and looking modern, you have to talk about sustainability. So let's talk about sustainability. Why should we care?
So let me tell you why it's not a buzzword. Which month are we on?
July.
And normally, which months would be cold? June?
Yeah.
Yeah? How many times have we had erratic heat waves?
Yeah.
Very many times.
Yeah.
Farmers can no longer plan with the calendar that they used to plan with. So climate change is real.
Yeah.
So when we talk about sustainability is, how are you doing your business today to ensure you preserve tomorrow?
Yeah.
What impact is your business having on the environment? Because there are resources that are not there forever.
Yeah.
Limited resources like water, energy, they're not there forever. If not utilized well, it's just a matter of time.
Yes.
So it's real. And why it's real is because climate change is with us. So we must think about sustainability. If you look at our demographic as a country, the bulk of our population is Gen Zs. If you don't have a plan that has a Gen Z in your strategy, then you're planning to fail.
True.
So sustainability is real. What we are seeing currently speaks to our preparedness to our current demographic. Our demographic is very different from countries like Japan and China. Japan, China, and even in Europe are struggling with an aging population. Africa and Kenya in particular is having a bulging Gen Z population. So when I talk about sustainability, it's about every institution, starting from private, starting from KCB. You must ask yourself today in your strategy, where is the Gen Z? What have you planned for that population that's growing very fast? A population that's very sharp, a population that's very agile and open to new ways of working. How are you preparing yourself for that? Let me bring it home. 90%, if you look at our financials, 90% of our transactions in the bank have not happened in the branch.
It's digital.
The Gen Z does not walk to the branch.
No.
It is on the phone.
Digital, yes.
So today, from a strategy perspective, even your MSME business, if you're running your business and have not thought through how you will be able to sell on that gadget, you're done. So that's what sustainability, I'm trying to break it to the smallest bit.
Terms, yes.
It's about asking yourself, is what I am doing today going to ensure I survive tomorrow?
Yes.
So whether it's ticking the environmental box, whether it's ticking the social box, and that's why I talked about you cannot ignore our demographic as a country. So even as I sit and develop products in the bank, I must think about because those are the next CEOs. How am I addressing the gaps that exist in the market to bring these guys and make them ready? So every institution, every organization, every CEO, the one thing that should keep them awake is how do I address this growing population that has so much potential that can actually go into the phone and do an AI and just show us as if we are, in a beach. And it looks real. Because they're sharp.
They are.
How do we tap that?
Absolutely.
How do we change our curriculum? How do we, and these conversations must happen. They must happen, and they need to happen as urgently as possible. So where I sit, Matters Housing, I'm very passionate about making sure that I can bring the Gen Z into that space. And that's why for me, social housing is a big deal for me. If today, Terry, if in another 100 years, if I can say what I did help eliminate the slums, then I will sleep at rest. Nobody deserves to live in a slum where access to water is almost impossible, where they have to pay a poverty penalty, by paying for electricity 3 times that me and you are paying. By paying for water, they buy water in a jerrycan, which is 25 shillings. If you calculate that into water billing, they're paying 100 times more. I mean, how unfair can we be? And then when you go inside there, who are the bulk of the people who are living there? Our young people. So we must boldly be ready to address that. And even from financial institutions, we have to ask ourselves, it can't just be about profit. we might have to step back and say, for this one, I will do it for the good of the society and allow this situation to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds really good. But like you said, from a housing perspective where you sit, what does sustainable building look like?
So when you come down to housing,
Yes.
what sustainability is really about
Yes.
is, remember I talked about limited resources
Yes.
that cannot be renewed,
Yeah.
that are not there forever.
Yes.
So you've got to ask yourself, one, how is your financial inclusion? How are you making sure that home ownership is affordable to as many as possible,
Yeah.
based on their income levels and based on where they are at? I am not asking for that person who is living in, let me pick an example, in Umoja to all of a sudden be able to live in Kileleshwa.
Yes.
But how can I enable that person who is in Umoja, based on their level of income, to actually afford a unit
Yeah.
in Umoja?
Yes.
Then you tick the social box. Then you talk about environmental.
Yes.
What is the impact? Is the building built on a riparian? Are we killing our river sources
And how do
just
you
for the
control
sake
that?
of development?
Yeah.
It's possible. That's why we have architects, we
Yes.
have engineers, we have profession, we have National Construction Authority.
Yeah.
It's about everybody doing the right thing in the space that they sit.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's about doing the right thing in the space that you sit.
Yeah.
It's not just for profit. I mean, we've seen ourselves go down to a level where anybody can put a club wherever they want to.
Yes.
It's not right.
Yeah.
We must have control.
Yeah.
We must plan our cities. Remember I talked about our demographic and a growing population? Today, even the way our city, when you talk about urban planning, our cities are planned is very, very key. It needs to be sustainable.
Yeah.
So that in another 25 years, if an estate has been put up, it still survives the time.
Yes.
If you look at Mumbai, let me tell you what happened in Mumbai. And when I look at Kenya, when I look at Nairobi, let me use Nairobi. When I look at Nairobi, it takes me back to Mumbai, where Mumbai was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
They had to demolish some of the estates that had been done. Because as they did the estates, they did not consider the population
Growing
that's
population.
growing. Land is not a resource that you can...
Expand.
Yes.
It's either there
Once
or
you've
not.
built, you've built.
Yeah.
So you must ask, even in terms of densities of populations, how are you planning spaces in a way that they are master planned? You provide all the resources. You don't have somebody moving from Kiambu, crossing the road just because the good school is on the other side.
Yeah.
You have somebody crossing the road because the good hospital is on the other side of the road. We need to create small spaces that have all these facilities. The person in Umoja deserves to have an Aga Khan. The person in Umoja deserves to have a Brookhouse because there's somebody who can afford that.
Yeah.
They don't need to cross all the way to go, because when you speak about sustainability, the cost of transport, the energy consumed, the pollution that happens when people have to cross through.
Across towns, yes.
Who are we killing? We're killing planet Earth.
Ourselves also.
And let me tell you,
Yeah.
we have developers club that, we do international trips.
Yeah.
Just to take our developers outside there to see what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
When you talk about climate change. And we did a trip once to China. And as we landed into Guangzhou, it was dark. Not because it was cloudy.
Yeah.
Not because the sun was not out. But there was
Pollution.
smoke.
Yeah.
And there are countries today that don't see the sun.
Yeah.
Because
The smoke, yes.
all that smoke has gone and formed a layer.
Yes.
When you talk about ozone layer being depleted.
Yeah.
So we are killing Mother Earth.
We are.
If we kill Mother Earth, where are we going to live? So sustainability, that's what sustainability is all about.
Yeah.
So how are you utilizing water within that building? How are you recycling that water? Because again, water, today, I did a trip to the Mount Kenya region, the Aberdares, where our water sources are coming from. And let me tell you, you need to be horrified because they are drying up. They are drying up because farmers have gone, some of them actually farming on the riverbed.
On the river, yes.
Yeah? So they are drying up. So there's a day water will become such a critical resource, people will be hoarding it.
Yeah.
Today, I can tell you, if you talk to Nairobi, I went to Ndakaini Dam, which is the main dam. The levels are never at the level that they need to be. The capacity is not enough to serve Nairobi, and that's why today you'll have water in Runda, there's no water in Kileleshwa. They have to do it that way.
Yeah.
Mark my words, if we don't do something about it, there's a day that water will not be there. That's how real it is.
Yeah.
So today, as you're doing that washing in your house, where is that water going? Can you recycle it? Are you using clean water to water your plants? That's what sustainability is all about.
Yeah.
The energy, the lighting you're using. Remember, how do we produce our electricity? Most of it is hydro.
Yeah.
It's powered by water. Yeah?
Yeah.
So how are you conserving that energy in the house? Are you using power-saving bulbs? Are you switching off the lights? Have you taken time to put solar panels so that you can rely on that natural? Because hydropower is not. Are we enabling our people to start tapping into wind power?
Yes.
It's about survival of humanity.
Yeah.
So it's not a buzzword. It's about, I can speak here today comfortably and say KCB is 128 years old. Mark my words, if we don't do the right things, 128 years to come, we will not have a planet.
Yeah. I like how passionate you are about sustainability, but I also recognize that it's sort of a group and a team effort.
Yeah.
Like as a bank, you have to do your part. The government has to do its part. As citizens, we have to do our part.
True.
And so everybody is sort of interconnected. So how are you, raising awareness about sustainability? Because there's someone who probably thinks, another thing that I have to hear about. So how do you make sure that all the players are doing their part and also just raising awareness?
So it's a lot of work. I will not cheat you. And you will find yourself in spaces doing things that are not really on your BAU or even on your work.
Yeah.
And I will speak for KCB. We sit at a very good space, where we can influence both public and private
policy. Yeah.
And what we've done about that, even as we embed sustainability in the way we do our business, is to play the role of lobbying. So you find, for example, I sit in the board of Kenya Property Developers Association. I sit in the land sector board for KEPSA. This is where you have all the business people coming in. And these conversations, the same way I'm having with you, we have these conversations. We ensure we're on the table to shape how policy is done.
Yeah.
Those regulations, by the time they come out, we make sure our input, our voice is heard, to make sure some of the considerations are done. So it's about being on the table. It takes doing more. And that's why business it cannot be business as usual. And when I say it cannot just be for profit, there are things as an organization you'll find yourself doing and investing in, and they don't necessarily translate to the bottom line, but because you're thinking about sustainability.
Yes.
So that has really helped in terms of making sure that our voice is heard in the different sectors, in the industry as well. We have a lot of sessions. Recently, we just hosted all lawyers. And part of it is also to drive, how is our legislation moving? How can we work together to move this? At one point, we actually hosted ISK, Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. And part of it is how do we start taking the ESG conversations, the sustainability conversations, down even to our professions, whether it's the architects, the valuers.
Yeah.
How do we change valuation to be not just coming and look at brick and mortar, but to start looking and asking yourself, is it ticking the boxes, in terms of environment? What does it mean?
Yeah.
Has there been a neighborhood that has complained about noise because of this estate? So we are pushing that. We are having those conversations. I can tell you it's not easy.
Yeah.
But a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the
with
first step. And I can tell you we are making those baby steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We hope to also do something about it because, like you said, at the end of the day, we only have one planet and we can't all destroy it. You talked about financial inclusion, and I want to bring this conversation to women. And I want to find out, why does property ownership matter so much to women?
So let me take you to the history of where we've come from. We've come from, and I think we've really evolved as a country, even in terms of our laws and everything. We come from a background where initially a lot of the cultures did not allow a woman to own a title, to have their name on the title. But I want to say a lot of work has happened, even in terms of our laws. If you look at our laws today, there's one thing I always have to argue with customers, spousal consent. They don't like it, the men don't like it. But our laws have evolved to the extent that before you sell a property and you're in a matrimonial home, you must get the spousal consent. And I can tell you, we have saved a lot of women. A lot of women used to sit, and one day you find all the chairs have been thrown out, the house was sold. The mzee went, found a more beautiful lady who is still young and decided.
Moved on.
Things have changed. It can no longer work like that. So even in terms of our laws, I think we've worked more to have women on board. The gender parity discussion is still a big one. We still have a big gap. So again, it's about being intentional and being deliberate to bring the women up there. And for us, we've started from, because you've got to look at it from this level. In terms of even income earning, we still have a very big gap.
Big gap, yes.
So the question as an organization, we ask ourselves, how can we start at incubation to start bringing the women up so that we can cut the gap? And let me tell you, when I talk about, many men will get worried when we start talking about women, gender parity. A report done by PwC says it will take 125 years before we can achieve gender parity. So there's actually no competition. It's about the moon and... So for us, is from incubation. How do we start? Where are women operating? Which space are they operating in as a bulk? If you look at the professions, there are very few women in the C-suite. And it's tougher as you get there. But when you walk into the MSME space, there are a lot of women that are operating there because they're comfortable with their own biashara. And what we are working with as a bank is how do we incubate such women right from and empower them? And I'm sure you've heard about our FLAME proposition.
Absolutely,
Female-led
I love
and male-led. And we start that conversation intentionally. First, from recognizing the fact that there was an injustice in the fact that there's a likelihood that today, if you were to lend to a woman and ask her for a title, she doesn't have any. So we removed that as a barrier. It was a whole comprehensive working because we did a research with the World Bank and ticked the boxes and asked, what are the barriers? And one of the barriers was the fact that women already don't own titles.
We don't have collateral.
Exactly. So we removed the need for collateral. So under FLAME today, you can borrow 10 million unsecured as a woman. That's the only condition. Just need to confirm that you're a woman entrepreneur.
And you're running a legit
and
business.
guess what? Out of that research, we actually did, and so women can actually pay much better than men. Women don't like the shame of being auctioned. They don't like the shame of the neighborhood at the neighbors start knowing, you're not paying your debt. But men do it and they don't even bat there.
The audacity. The audacity
and
of
they
men.
don't feel... But women are very, very... So they tend to be good pairs. So we are working on that journey. In terms of home ownership, we have actually also started doing that. And it's possible because it's about how you innovate products, financial products, that can accommodate that fact. The fact that a woman may not have the title, but from a cash flow point of view, they are good pairs. And how do you create a model that allows that? And we've worked with partners. It takes partnership to be able to achieve that and have some risk-sharing frameworks that ensure that, again, you do not burn the shareholders' money. So yes, a lot of effort and a lot of work on the back scene just to, to bring the woman up and then, walk that journey of home ownership. And I'll tell you, whenever a woman is involved, even in a home purchase, that you're assured that
it goes well.
In fact, they do everything possible to ensure that, they secure a home. As women, we are created as naturals because we are sort of like creators. We bring life forth. So we want to make sure that life is comfortable, is safe, So a home for a woman is almost like a safe haven.
It is.
For her children.
It is, yes.
Yeah, so we really treasure that, and we will do everything to ensure that is safeguarded.
That's true. Yeah. And I like that you said we still have such a long way to go, because sometimes when you talk about gender parity and you're passionate about it, people will be like, oh, you guys have been talking about this for so long, we're forgetting. And I'm like, no, you need to see the things, the systemic injustices that we are fighting for you to understand exactly where we are. Like collateral, it's probably not something that will come at the forefront of your mind when you think about gender inequality, but it is there and it's affecting a lot of women. But also, I think I am also curious to know, are there any products for first-time women owners that KCB has?
So I will say yes. And I said we started developing right from the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
We even have what we call DigiFlame, which is actually on phone. And it's in partnership with Bill and Melinda Gates.
Yeah.
We also have programs, that we started when I was in the foundation with MasterCard Foundation. Again, working with women who are with a very big bias to women who are in business, just to be able to bring them through that journey. Because you have to start, first of all, by ensuring you build them to have a consistent cash flow.
Yes.
And then now move them to the next level of owning the security, owning the collateral. So just starting. So yes, we do have right from that level. But at the point of entry, for those that are able, again, we've tried to remove a lot of those barriers just to make sure that it's easier for the women.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
So I was reading the statistics at KCB, and 71% is the youth, young people. How is it working with this generation that is so independent-minded? They will speak their mind. They are not timid. They will come to your office and tell you, I didn't like what was done. How is that like?
Very interesting you ask that.
Yeah.
As I told you, I'm a mother of Gen Zs. I have 3 of them in the house.
Oh.
So for me, I will say I'm lucky because I've learned a lot from the way they do their things, the way they have a very independent mind, the way they did not grow up from the hang-ups that I have, and they don't care about, that thing of telling a Gen Z, we grew up in, from
without
a humble
shoes.
beginning. He's like, no.
They used to run.
Me, I have shoes, mom. So when it comes to the workplace, it's very, very important to recognize that. Otherwise, it can bring a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
And part of it, even from a HR perspective, a lot of initiatives in terms of the mentorship programs that have been brought to just handhold them along the journey.
Yeah.
I personally love to work with the Gen Z because they are agile, think fast, think on their feet. And you just need to, they are not as hard as, people may want to put it. They are just different, and which is okay. The world is built through diversity.
Yes.
But again, mentorship becomes very, very key.
Yeah.
Just holding them through the journey.
Yes.
And listening to them. Most importantly, listening to them.
Yeah.
Because we are suffering from a culture where we believed in being the sayers.
Yes.
And not listening at all. I am the parent, so you listen.
Yeah.
It's very
because
different.
I said so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, sometimes answering and saying, I don't need to say
Explain.
why. But with the Gen Z, the why.
It's so important.
It's very important.
Yes.
You must be able to explain why.
Yeah.
So you were telling me to come to work at this time.
Why?
Why? Please be able to answer.
Yeah.
If you are not able to answer that, and listen and ask them, so why don't you want to come to work at this time?
I can work from home.
Yes. Then listen. So if you work from home,
will you
guide
deliver?
me? How will I measure your metrics?
Yes.
How will I still make sure you meet your KPIs? So it's I'll call it like and I mean, I think a lot of organizations are going through that.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing because you get a lot of innovations, a lot of the new things.
Absolutely, yes.
When I look at even the software developers that we have in the bank, they are so quick. You just give them the idea of what you want, and they quickly get in there and
provide
solutions. Where else in the traditional way we would have sat, did a whole procurement process,
a committee,
and got a South African company came and quote a big figure.
Yes.
But they're able to just think through and quickly come up with a solution. And I think that's where the world is going. Yeah. So the question is, what systems do we need to put in the workplace to support the Gen Zs, whether it's the flexi working environment, because that's very key. You know, how do we offer that flexi environment? Flexi toned down culture, even in the way they dress. I mean, they want to have their dreads. How can you?
And the bank has been very rigid.
And you know the bank. You know, we're coming from. Remember this. I don't know whether you had been born, but there are times when banks used to wear uniforms.
Yes.
I don't know whether you found that era.
Yeah.
And we would have to wear uniforms to work. All of us. The ladies are in proper suits like the air hostesses. And the men.
What was that about?
It's just about culture and generational differences in
Is it how
the Gen X and the Gen Z think very different?
Absolutely, yes.
When you go to the millennials, another difference altogether.
Millennials, we overcompensate.
Yes. So now we are seeing a culture where you want a toned down dressing. You want to allow, and of course also don't go overboard.
True.
Just
within
to allow
limits.
that. Yes, and make it easier. I'll tell you, like now we have our have-to planning. And I'm doing it at Akoroga because it's part of appreciating. You have a young, and they probably will think better when they're making that chicken there.
True.
And,
True.
And I will still achieve my purpose.
Yeah.
But if we get stuck to it's got to happen in a boardroom where it's formal.
Where's your tie?
Where's your tie?
Yes.
We'll not get there. So it's been a learning for me. I'm not a Gen Z. I will not say I'm a what because that will betray me. A woman doesn't tell her age.
Never.
Yeah. So there's a lot of learning. But I said for me, I think I'm advantaged because I have Gen Zs in the house.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things I've had to learn and work differently, even in the way we operate in the house. Because they're vocal and they speak and they will not just do just for the sake of it. I remember the very first time my son stood up to his dad. He almost fainted. My dad, my husband, his one almost fainted. And, he didn't show it, but the body language totally showed it.
Yes.
Because later when we discussed, he was like, the audacity, what did that boy
tell me?
Yes. And we sat back and thought about it and was like, actually, he has a point.
Right?
So we had to, and you can imagine, to swallow that pill.
And
then I'll call him and tell him, okay, Eddie, actually, you have a point. Tell us more. And the confidence that brings in that boy after that. He's like, actually,
I can do it.
So now he comes up with more and more and more.
Yes.
And
I have a Gen Z in the studio, and yesterday we were having a conversation.
It's a Gen Z here.
They're all Gen Zs. We were having a conversation. I was telling them, when I started working, I did work for a year and a half without pay. And one of them looked at me and just told me, I used to get paid even in internship. And I was trying to tell them the way, the value of sometimes working because you don't have experience. And he just looked at me like, no.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
Me and you were dumb. They're not.
Yes. They're like,
they're
no.
Not.
Why? Am I not giving value?
Yes.
Yeah, if you don't think I'm giving value, then... And it was, I thought about it in the night. And I thought, wow, I like how liberated they are in the fact that they know their worth. They're not going to be stuck in jobs that are not fulfilling. But like you said, mentorship. And I know mentorship is big for you. And a lot of women, especially when you're just maybe getting into your second job, we're all looking for mentors to work with. How does that work? What do you think is the role of mentorship in like career growth?
So mentorship is very, very key. Right. Even as I talk to my own Gen Zs, I try to introduce that very, very early because there are things I can say as a parent that they will take different when they hear it from a different person who's probably almost at their age but has grown in one way or another.
Yeah.
And I will say my career journey, I'm a product of mentorship. So, and I tell everyone, if you are actually very serious about career and you have no mentor, then you're not serious about your career. And you can look, we talk of mentors, we talk of sponsors, we talk of, and not sponsors in the way that, I saw your eyes going round.
Not like that.
Yeah, not like that. When I talk about a sponsor, it's somebody who speaks of your worth on the table when you're not in the room. You must have somebody who knows what you can deliver, what you can bring on the table, so that the day you're not on the table, that person speaks on your behalf. So whenever I start my mentorship session, I ask, do you have that person in the organization who knows the stuff that you can deliver?
Yes.
Because sometimes there's always, and unfortunately what happens, especially in career, there are a lot of managers who thrive out of having very good employees.
Yeah.
And what they do is that they want to retain them longer.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to lose them, because it's not them doing, it is the person that's
Someone
under
else.
there.
Yes.
So you who is doing that, do you have somebody who knows how good you are and they can speak for you when you're not on
there.
the table?
Yes.
That's what I mean when I talk about a sponsor.
Yeah.
Then a mentor, somebody who challenges you,
Yeah.
because many times we make, and I know there's mentorship and there's coaching. Many times we make goals, but how often do we follow through? Do you have somebody that holds you accountable? Then you have that coach who helps you through the deliverable, because a coach they don't come to tell you. You already have the potential.
Yeah.
They just make you to commit to do it.
Yes.
And commit to it.
Yeah.
They come and ask you. So you said 3 years down the line, what have you done
Where are
about
you?
it? Where are the steps?
Yeah.
So it's very important, because naturally as human beings, we work better when, our accountability sits elsewhere. So it's very important that, you have mentors. And you can have as many mentors as, I have like 6 mentors.
Oh, wow.
Because a mentor will speak to one aspect of your life. There's a mentor who will speak to your spiritual
Yes.
direction very, very well. That mentor may not be the best for your career.
Yeah.
Then you'll have your career mentor. Then you'll have your mental or fitness mentor
Yeah.
who tells you, pick that kit, let's go for that coffee.
We need to start, yes.
Yeah, you've been saying, and I've been there, I've been saying. Pick that kit that's,
Yes.
picking up, spider, what do you call, webs, and get to the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to have that mentor who helps you deal with your social circle.
Yes.
I keep saying, if the people who surround you, and you must always do that dipstick, if the people who surround you, you are the brightest, please change, move. You can never be the brightest in your circle. You must challenge yourself to have a circle that has people who challenge you.
Yeah.
People who are higher, people who aspire. But sometimes what happens, and especially with us women, because that's where men really get it very different.
Yeah.
A man will go to have a drink with a guy who is more superior or has business deals and feel comfortable. But as women, we are more comfortable with our charmer.
Yes.
I like to break that charmer setup.
Mentality,
and it's not
yes.
bad to have a charmer.
Yeah.
But have a social circle that challenges you.
Yeah.
That challenges you to unleash your next best self.
Yeah.
Yeah? And never allow yourself to be in a circle where you're the brightest, where you're the most adored, where you're the most... Immediately that happens, step out. Step out and move into a circle that makes you a bit uncomfortable. Let me tell you, success doesn't exist in the comfort zone. It actually is there, just there where you feel uncomfortable. That's where it is. Now, that's where you start smelling success.
Yes.
When you start feeling, even in your job, you're starting having to do things that are making you feel, I'm not used to this.
Yes.
Now, just remind yourself at the back of your mind, that success I'm smelling.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, and for ladies, I really encourage that we move from our normal social circle and have circles that challenge us. And it's possible, with a proper coach and a mentor, they're actually able to guide you to move into a circle where, if you're a head of a department, a circle that has a CEO, and you hear it from the perspective of a CEO. If you're a manager, a circle that has a head of a unit, for you to start hearing from that head of unit. If you're an entrepreneur, a circle that moves you from where you have an MSME and you have one person who is listed as 100 leading MSME, or you have a person has moved from MSME to corporate level to challenge your status quo and ensure that you remain. So that's what
Sharp.
mentorship does.
Yes.
Mentorship keeps you sharp to move from the next level.
Yeah.
Otherwise, many people will stagnate because you feel comfortable. You get into the comfort zone.
Yes.
And sometimes it's actually very warm and very comfortable.
Yeah.
And because we don't like, things that shake us, things that...
Yeah.
Yeah. But immediately you get into that space, you find yourself, you have to read more, you have to research more.
Yes.
That's success.
Yes.
I call it success.
It's coming.
Start smelling success.
Yes. Yeah, and you're right. A lot of us women, I think, I don't know why we are so afraid of acknowledging, like, oh yeah, this is someone who is, doing better. I respect them. I look up to them. It's very hard for women to, and I find men are such good respecters of authority, and even just how they are.
Boss. Boss.
Yes.
But my bossy, very easy. And
they are very easy.
Cross that barrier.
Yeah.
But for women, we put another. And part of it is also as women, as we get into the top positions, because that's the other thing. I'm a believer in reverse mentorship.
Yeah.
And I've been reverse mentored even by my own Gen Zs. Mm-hmm. And it's always good to be, and that's why you must be open to learn and unlearn. Because Gen Zs will have been teaching us to unlearn.
Yes.
The things that we have forever thought, this is okay, this is how it should be done.
Yeah.
They actually work to teach us, no, it actually can
be done in another
way. So it's
way.
very good to have that open. And even for us as ladies, as women, as we grow, to be open to that. Because again, the problem and the difference between a man who's growing in career and a woman who's going in career, as women, majority of us, as we grow up there, we create a barrier. And we place ourselves
at the pedestal.
But for the men, when they meet for the drink, when they're having that glass of beer, you would never tell this is the CEO, this is the... But for us, we maintain that. The title is such a big deal.
Yeah.
So we never get to become ourselves. We never get to be natural.
Yeah.
The day you learn to be natural and just be yourself and realize leadership is not about telling.
Yes.
Leadership is not about leading. Leadership is about enabling and inspiring. Because sometimes as leaders, we are actually clueless. But you have the potential to make people realize their potential and perform at their highest. Yeah? So it's just about, so there's something about us women also working on those barriers. And for you to be able to work on those barriers and biases that come even as you move up, mentorship and coaching are very key. I like to talk to my coach, every now and then, play scenarios that have wounded out and ask, what do I need to change?
Right.
Yeah? Because they are an independent person. They can think differently. It is very, very important because that's sitting in the safe comfort zone. And the unfortunate thing is that as women hit the suit, they feel they have arrived, and that's it. Then we stop working on ourselves. And that's where the danger comes in.
Yes.
When you hear the cliche of women are bad bosses, we drive that.
I think we do.
Part of it, because self-awareness is very important.
Yes.
And self-awareness is something you continue working on continuously and continuously. Men have, the reason why, they say men are made in Mars. Women are made in Venus.
Yes.
The difference with the way a man's mind is coined, and now that I have a daughter who's a teenager and I have boys who are Gen Zs, I see the difference. While my daughter who is a teenager will be worried about what will people say, my son does not even care.
Yes.
It is the least of his
worries, yes.
I remember when my son was bullied in school, he got his own way of retaliating. So I was called in school because he chappered somebody. But a girl will go around self-questioning. It is the nature. It's how we are built. It's how we are structured.
Yeah.
So we must be very, very much aware of how we are structured so that structuring does not define the kind of a leader we become. Right. And part of it is to also recognize that some work has got to be done.
Yeah.
You've got to allow somebody else to walk with you that journey as you move into the different levels. Yeah.
It's interesting that you said that as we also just get close to winding up. So women, and I've had this from the circle of my friends, when someone says, oh, I'm struggling with imposter syndrome. And so I went to my husband, I told him, I'm struggling with imposter syndrome. And he was like, what's that? What do you mean imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Oh, imposter syndrome. And I went to explain what, he's like, people feel like that? Like he couldn't even begin to understand that there are feelings that women have. Like we feel inadequate, he was like, I have never felt that. Like, if I want to go talk to someone, say, just go talk to them. Yeah. Why do I need to think about what they're going to think about me? That's none of my business, you know? And he's really changing how I'm thinking about even putting labels on yourself, you know? The minute I acknowledge, I have imposter syndrome, I don't think it does us any good.
And let me tell you something.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not there in the men, but they put it at the back.
Yes.
But for us, we put it
at
here.
The front.
It's the focus.
Yes.
And that's why for a lady will not go for an interview until they feel they are 90% ready.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I have sat in panels, I've interviewed a clueless man. Clueless, as in he only knows 10% and is there confident.
Yeah, I
and
can
even
do
at
the
the end,
job.
the last question when you're asking, he's actually asking for a higher pay than the lady who was 80% ready would ask for. And he's able to justify why he wants the high pay. For us, questions start coming. In fact, when you ask very many women, in fact, the reason why we don't even grow in career, when that question comes in of what is your salary expectation, we are like, no, I don't deserve this. Now, why are you asking me? I shouldn't be looking more, I
what
should
is
be
your
modest.
range?
What is your...
I can work with what you have.
Men pop it out.
Yes.
They pop it. They don't even think. In fact, I've noticed a trend.
Yeah.
A lady will struggle more with that question.
Yeah.
A man will answer it spot on and will actually put the figure. There's a figure he knows.
Yeah.
He will add a 30%. A woman will say less. And so one of the things I've also learned out of my coaching sessions is to know my worth and demand it. So I have worked in interviews where I have mentioned a figure and I can see the eyebrows going up and I'm that's my worth. That's my worth. Take it.
Or leave it.
Yes. And it's okay to do that. But for women, we feel, no, I am not. It's not right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes.
So part of it is the way we are wired. And unless you have a coach that helps you fight those barriers that exist because of the way we are wired, even in the way we think, then you will continue, you'll continue feeling like you're not growing as fast as you are. Yeah. It doesn't mean that men don't have imposter syndrome. They do.
They just don't talk about it.
But men have been wired not to focus on their weakness.
Yes.
There's something, they're able to pack it. In fact, they're able to pack their problems, which sometimes can also be a bigger problem. They're able to pack their problems and focus on the positive and, say, I will deal with the problem later. But as women, we want to bring it now here. We want to have a solution today. And Wow. So that's why mentorship and coaching is very key.
Yes.
For anybody who's serious. And it's not just, mentorship and coaching is not just for career. It's even in business.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of businesses that have been able to move from being MSMEs, from being micro businesses to MSMEs to corporates.
Yeah.
And many of them never thought, coaching and mentorship is important.
Yeah.
But immediately you paired them up with, a peer coacher who's in the same level of business but probably higher.
Yeah.
They start improving their processes, start thinking about succession planning for their businesses. They stop looking like they're the only ones who can run the business and start, removing that, key man risk that comes, with you just being the person who's running the business.
Everything, yes.
Yeah. Oh. The Asians have done it very well. They bring their kids up
when they're very
early
young.
enough.
Yes.
As we are stuck, our businessmen are stuck. They want to run.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I have seen billionaires drop down. And by the time you're going to have that discussion with the kin that has been left behind,
they have no idea.
Clueless.
Yeah, I don't know why Africans, we don't think about our succession plan. Yeah. We hardly want
to hold.
Yes, yeah, and it's your child. Teach them.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no point of building something and then once you're gone, it's gone with you. Yeah. This has been such an inspiring conversation. I have loved every bit of it. I love what you said, that leadership is not about telling, it's about enabling. That is going to stick with me for a long time. But thank you so much for coming. It has been lovely. The 1 year wait was worth it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, all the best with what you're doing at KCB. And one day I hope to also come and start my journey to home ownership.
Thank you. Thank you. Karibu sana. You will.
Yes.
You will. Once I inject that, it's done. You'll soon be calling me to get the list.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you
very
so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we leave, this is going to be a different video,
so
a short video. Yes, we're still on. But this is now a short video that I'm going to ask you quick fire questions. Okay. So Caroline, buy or build?
Build. I built my house.
First thing you notice when you walk into someone's home?
The colors.
What's one non-negotiable in your personal space?
Integrity.
Most memorable home you've ever visited?
Most memorable home I've ever visited. We did a trip to Singapore, and I really wanted to have a view of those houses that are bought by those billionaires and billionaires. Yeah, and we got into one of those, and it's never left my mind.
Ooh. One thing you wish more people knew about mortgages?
That it's inevitable. You either pay rent or you mortgage. The difference is that as you mortgage, you own it.
A phone call or a voice note?
A phone call.
The best leadership advice you've ever received in one sentence?
It's okay to unlearn.
Finish the sentence. Home is?
The place of warmth.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.